Hello all you lovely people. Going to do a tutorial today for a very beginner friendly drawing. So here's lemons, simple shapes, only 3 colours, just very beginner friendly. So start out with the shapes. I'm going to do oranges, just it's the same thing though. So yeah, I can draw some circles. Because it's fruit, it doesn't need to be perfect, they're not perfect. I'm going to also do an open orange, so I'll draw one circle and then connect it to like a semicircle. And then for the leaves, orange leaves are a bit more round, almost a little bit more perfect than a lemon leaf. If you look at references, you'll be able to see. But it's all very simple shapes. And like I say, it's organic shape, so it doesn't need to be perfect. So yeah, I just very lightly draw in my shapes. And in some of them, I'll just draw like one line and I'll know what that means. So these are my paints, my very messy paints. I'm going to use the dark green, the orange, and then that's coming up red, but it's an orangey red. And then possibly I might use brown. I can decide that later on. So to start with the leaf, I'll take the dark green and I'll just draw in the corners. Make that the darkest bit, and then with a wet brush, taking off the paint, wet my brush, I'll then draw that paint into the middle so that the middle is lighter and it sort of gives the illusion of like a 3D effect. I like art that sort of, it doesn't have to be realistic, it's, you know what it's doing and it's pretty, and that's what I want to do. I also leave a white line in the middle as like my highest point. So just do it again on this leaf, yeah. Draw in the dark line, colour in the corners, clean off my brush, and then with a wet brush, just drag that paint into the middle. And because it's leaves, they can all be different, you know, you can have different shades. They're all bumpy, so the light will hit differently, so you don't need to be perfect, and that's what makes this so beginner friendly. And I'll do the exact same thing on the other side of the leaf, but just make sure to leave that white line as that bit of separation between the leaves, and I just think that gives a really nice, pretty effect, really. Please excuse my voice as well. If you can't tell, I'm currently ill, so my voice is a bit croakier than normal. Hopefully it's not too annoying for everyone. So I'll just sort of speed up the rest of it now because it's the exact same technique for all the leaves. If you want to make them even darker, I do think dark leaves look quite nice, a bit more shadow, then feel free to add a bit of Payne's Grey in there and just darken up those corners or the edges. And then for the stems, I don't know what to call them, it's basically the exact same technique. I do one thick line of paint that I drag upwards with a clean wet brush, and then one very thin line on the other side, and again leave a white line space as my highlight effect. And yeah, that's it. Super simple, but I think it does give a very nice effect. I also think the colours just look so nice together in the end, the orange and the dark green, the same way that I thought the lemons looked very nice in the end. It's the sort of painting I could see in a kitchen. In my kitchen anyway. So it turns out my phone wasn't recording for all of this orange, but don't worry, I'll do the exact same thing again and I'll explain it there, because again it's super simple but just gives a really nice effect. At the moment I'm just darkening up the shadow side. So yeah, when you do this, you'll want to think of where your light source is. Not so much for the leaves, because like I say, the leaves will all bump and go in different ways, but for the oranges you will. So for this bit, I'll just lightly erase my work so that it doesn't show through my paint, and then add a thick, very concentrated orange colour to my shadow side. And then yeah, as it gets up to my light source, so I'm saying that the light is coming from the top, I'll just make that line a little thinner so that when I use a clean wet brush to drop the paint out, less paint will come. And yeah, now I'll drag the paint out, keeping it quite dark on the shadow side, and then yeah, keeping it lighter towards the light side. And I think this just gives a really nice 3D effect without, you know, any complicated techniques or colour combinations. That's why I do think this is such a beginner friendly one, but it does give a really nice effect in the end. So I'm just being careful around that leaf because obviously I don't want to blend the green into it. And you know, if you're more comfortable with watercolours, you can always add in different colours for the shadows, you know, like some browns. But just to keep it beginner friendly, I just wanted to use, yeah, 3 colours. Also remember to darken up just where it connects to the stem. There's a little, I don't know what to call it, a dimple there. So I just darken up that bit as well. And then now with a wet but semi-clean brush, I'll finish off that highlight. And you may notice that I use a teacup for my water, and it's actually a tea set that was my great grandma's. And I do love tea, but I have so many tea sets and they're too pretty to have hidden away, so they've either become, some get used as decoration and others are used for watercolour. So now I'm just going in and darkening the shadow side with the same colour, just layering it on. And like I say, if you want even more shadow, feel free to add in a brown. And at the end, when it was dry, if you want more light, feel free to get a white gel pen. You can add in like the dots of the orange, or conversely you can get a dark brown and add in the dimples rather than the highlights. So yeah, then you can just go around, neaten it up, finesse it, and just have fun with it. It's a simple drawing that you can add more to if you would like, or you can keep it very simple. Whatever you want to do, really, whatever you're feeling. I'm gonna just speed it up now for the finessing, because it's not that interesting to watch and it really depends on what you want to do. Okay, so now on to the open orange, which is the bit I really enjoy. So I've just drawn a central circle and then triangle sections off that. So I'll go around the triangle section and then fill it in but leave lots of blank space. So basically it's almost like messy colouring, I'd say. Within the lines, but messy colouring where you've not really been bothered to fill it all in. Because obviously the inside of an orange is, well, it's wet, it's juicy, so the highlights are bright. And I think with watercolour what's really pretty is using the blank space as the highlights. So yeah, I leave lots of white space and then just darken up where the shadows would be, or where I feel they should be, what looks nice. So yeah, I darken up the corners mainly, and then later on you'll see I'll darken up next to some of the highlights as well, just to give that light and shade effect. But it's the same technique for all sections. This is what I quite like about this painting. It's the same techniques a lot, so you can really just relax and enjoy it. So yeah, again, my messy colouring in, leaving lots of white space. And you don't really need to think about it too much because, as I've said before, it's an organic shape. It's not perfect, which I do think is what makes it so enjoyable to paint. So yeah, darken up the outsides again, and on to the next. I do find this bit very relaxing, I have to admit. I find watercolour relaxing. So yeah, I'll speed it up. So it's the same techniques each time, darkening up the corners, that's where I like my shade to be. So here I am just adding in some extra shade. So it's the same colour but just a stronger concentration of it. And I just go next to some of the highlights, just to make the highlights pop a bit more as well. And then it's pretty much it after that, that's the drawing done. So yeah, really simple, really nice, fun bit of art to do, and I really think anyone could do this. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, please like and subscribe. If you prefer I didn't speed up tutorials, please tell me, and have a good day. Bye.